Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Velero community meeting. Today is May 18th, 2021. If you haven't already, please add your name to the attendee list, as you can see here in the meeting notes. We want to make sure that we have everyone who's on the call here, so we can reach out if we want to do any follow-ups or things like that. So please add your name and affiliation there. And then we'll go through status updates. And if you have any discussion topics that you would like to bring up, please do that as well. You can add them here to the HackMD as we go through. So with that, let's start with Nolan. Nolan is out. He's at a doctor's appointment, but he does have a rough draft of the proposal for Velero debug. So maybe we can have a look at that next week. Next up, we have Bridget.
Hi, everyone. So thank you, everyone who is for your patience. I've been working on this plugin versioning design doc. As I've been working on it, I've just been realizing that the plugin framework is quite complex. So it's taken me quite a few times to go through this and make sure that I understand it. I have put the design doc in a Google Doc so far, just because I think it'll be easier to gather comments and have folks who maybe understand the process a little bit more, suggest things in there. And then once we kind of refine it a bit more, I'll move it into a PR. But hopefully everyone can access this. I'm hoping that I can gather some comments and some feedback over the next week and incorporate that. And then I'll try to present it at the next community meeting, so next week. So please feel free to read, leave feedback, tell me if I've missed anything or just really misunderstood something. I'll be continuing to add to this as well as new things come up. But yeah, that's it for me.
I just learned yesterday that there were server plugins. Like if you go to the Velero package server, there's plugins, and then we have our custom plugins, and of course we have the standard plugins. Does this, I guess this covers just the custom plugins that people can.
Yeah, so the server aspect of the plugins, so each plugin essentially, even the custom plugins and everything that's internal, they all essentially run a gRPC service, and then the main Velero process acts as a client and communicates with that plugin server. So that's how it's implemented. So the plugins communicate via gRPC. So maybe you might understand a little bit more about the process after reading this. Maybe there's something that I've missed. So if you've noticed something else, some other aspect of the plugins I've missed, yeah, please feel free to read and leave some feedback. I'd appreciate that.
Thanks for writing this up.
Oh, no problem.
Awesome. Any other questions, comments for Bridget? All right, Carlesia, carbalizing.
I'm gonna make this a word.
I love it.
I don't know. I'm not sure if the Carle team likes it. I made making progress with this list of requirements before I tackled the design doc for the Carle. Basically, what we're trying to do is have all the artifacts so Velero users can use Carleized artifacts to deploy and configure Velero. And I have to answer some of those questions, and I still need a review from Nolan. But I am still doing research and to move on to the design doc. Besides that, I opened a bunch of PRs for each of our repos to make sure they all had a GitHub action that randomly requests reviews from specifically only two maintainers. And Bridget, apologies, I dumped it all on you, but I figured they were all the same. And you just
it's fine, don't worry.
Yeah. I was just like, excuse me, Jensen, Bridget and Bridget and everyone. Thanks for moving those forwards. And I also have to do PR reviews, prioritizing the PRs for the release cycle. Not release cycle, sprint cycle. That's it for me.
Sounds good. Any questions, comments for Carlesia? I have a question regarding this. Could you just open them up to see that we got proper review requests to the right people?
The way it works is, so it's a GitHub action. There are different ones. So we're using the specific ones, the specific one, but basically they all work the same. We have a list of reviewers, and in our case, all of the I think 5 of us now, maintainers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we configure it to say, out of this list, pick 2. So every PR that gets open, this action will randomly assign 2 people as reviewers for that PR. And it's nice because if nobody gets assigned, that's bad. And if everybody gets assigned, that's, in my opinion, that's also bad, because at least it's not ideal, because then it's like, we are responsible, nobody is responsible. So now, yeah, and we have to be careful about if we can't review the PR, hand off to someone else, that kind of thing. But at least with every PR, we'll have 2 reviewers who are responsible.
I have a question about that. That kind of sets the default view. I'm guessing if there's a particular PR that I have an interest in reviewing that I'm not assigned to, I can go ahead and review it, and that'll count as one of the 2 anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's just so we make sure that PRs get merged.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, but you can even say, if you're not assigned, you can talk to the other maintainer and say, hey, don't merge this PR. You write on PR. Hey, don't merge this PR before I review it, because I have some opinions. So you can ask for the PR to be held until you review it, or you can say, hey, do you want to get off of reviewing this and put me in your place?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Did we are we using the GitHub Owners functionality here at all?
No.
Okay. Been looking into that a little. Just it's interesting to see that we can put owners under certain structures within the project and call on people for review for certain feature areas.
I am not remembering. I am misremembering what this is. I remember that there's this thing called owners. Is the owners people who are, what qualifies as owners? Because not all of them, we weren't able to put all the maintainers as GitHub, the same equivalency as the VMware maintainers have, because of security reasons, because they'll have access to things that, so we haven't been able to sort it out. So if it's through that, we can't do it because external maintainers wouldn't be able to be added. But I'm not remembering exactly what that is.
Yeah, it's a different thing called code owners. So you can let me share my screen here again. With a way for making sure that we define individuals or teams who are responsible for code ANA repository as well. So you can have something like, yeah, they have a few examples here. Everything under docs, and we make sure that this email or the person tied to this email gets a notification. I believe that's how it works. I think it might be worthwhile maybe looking into this too.
Is it just about getting notifications?
Not sure.
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it. Because I don't think this will actually trigger, for example, the actual assignments of PR reviewers, which is something that if we didn't have that trigger, we have to do manually. I don't think this does that. It might be just like notification. I'll read it though, but I'm sure it doesn't do what the action does.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I remember
I
reading
think-
this a long time ago, and I don't think it's very useful as far as I remember, but I'll read it again. Sorry, go ahead,
Okay.
Alay.
Yeah, it might not be.
Yeah, so I think upstream Kubernetes uses something like this, but it's configured in a system called pro, and they have a file name owners, and owners have two sections, reviewers and approvers. So kind of like approver has a higher responsibility than a reviewer. An approver can override with /approve command. And that actually achieves what you're looking for in terms of assigning the right reviewer and owner to a
Yeah.
particular PR.
Thank you for explaining. So we do have an interest in looking into PROW. We haven't assigned time to do that yet, but so we would need something. So that's basically you establish for the owner. The owners are categorized them in different ways, and then you have to have a trigger that says, you know, look up this list. So we can do that with GitHub Action now, and when we have the bandwidth to look into using PROW, because PROW can be used for that, but so many other things as well that are very useful. It just takes a little bit of effort to integrate it with the project. If somebody wants to do it.
Hey, yeah, not bad. No, this is cool. Making sure that we have the GitHub action though is all set up and working. Thank you, Kalicia. Any other questions, comments for Kalicia? All right, Eleanor.
Yeah, so I think we mentioned this last Tuesday, but we finally, Nolan, Dave, and I finished our backlog triage. It had ballooned to 411 issues, which felt much. Well, we've only, thank you, Jonas, but it's only the triage we finished. We still have another big chunk of work, but we'll celebrate halfway points. So now there's 290 issues, so we closed 122 issues. Definitely, it was not ideal. There were a lot of good ideas in there, but in short, if they either didn't align with our future direction or we didn't think we could get to them for the next 2 years, we felt like having them open was worse. Kind of they were sitting in purgatory, kind of just sitting there. So of the 290 issues, about a quarter we are considering for 2022 or beyond. So this would probably be Velero 2.0. Right. And of course, that'll be once Dave's back from his vacation, we're going to reduce those. We've got about half of the issues supposedly are for 1.7 or 1.8. Sorry, I shouldn't say supposedly, but in short, we will not do 140 issues in the remainder of 2021, but they are at least in contention. There also might be duplicates. We're going to try to reduce that. Likewise, we'll do this when Dave's back. And lastly, there's about 70 issues that are support tickets, and those we may have to do more thinking about them because I'm not sure if those will all, just because of the size of the Velero team, we cannot close all support tickets realistically that we're getting in. So hopefully we'll find a way to maybe deal with those tickets because I don't want them to just cause the backlog to balloon again. So sometime in the future, you'll hear us talking about how we might deal with support tickets. And if you have any ideas or if you want to help us close some, please let us know.
I think this is great. Closing out 122 issues out of 411 is big. So that's fantastic to see. Closing out a quarter of more than a quarter of all the issues there. So to get it more manageable and then make it, see all the others being aligned for future releases. It's super nice to see.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate the community input and we want to be responsive to the community. And so even though this looks a little bit draconian at times, this is us trying to be as responsive as we can be.
Awesome. Any questions, comments for Eleanor? Right. So we have one thing that I wanted to bring up. I haven't added it in here, but we have started some work on a CFP for KubeCon North America. So we're going to see if we can get Velero on stage there, which would be awesome. So we've got Scott and Carlicia and Eleanor working on things here, which is fantastic to see. So for the community here, if you are using or have built something on top of Velero, we would love to hear about what you're using it for and how it's being used. So if you have anything like that, please ping me on Slack if you want a shout out in the or a shout out, or maybe even a larger explanation of the thing that you do. Please ping me on Slack in the Kubernetes Slack there at Jonas Roslund, and I'd love to get you in there as well. That's it from me. Any questions on that? All right. Do we have any discussion topics for today? Nope. All right. And contributor shout outs, they're usually done by Nolan, and he is out today. So we'll keep those for next week, I think.
Oh, I forgot to run the script. Sorry.
Don't worry.
Are we done? Because I totally spaced out.
Yeah.
This- Sorry. We'll roll over to next week.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'll do
if
it
you
now
can-
because otherwise we the script is like hard coded to 7 days prior.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And yeah, please run it and then we can talk about them next week as well. I see also there's an issue with the meeting invite, the new Zoom link. So I'll make sure that that gets updated. I believe I sent that out as an update last week. If that didn't happen, I apologize. So I'll make sure that you all get the new link as well in your inboxes. And if you don't get an updated invite by this afternoon, please ping me in public and say, hey, Jonas, where the heck is the calendar invite? So yes. Alicia.
I ran the script, there is nothing.
Okay, that was easy. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you everyone for joining, and have a great rest of the week. Talk to you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.